is Jeenifer Flinn, and I run a food blog here in Korea. I run a food blog because there are only two things in the whole world that are interesting to everybody: food and sex. And if I blogged about my sex life, it would be too boring.
But unlike a lot of people, there's a lot of food blogging going on in Korea, and more blogs about Korean food. But Korean bloggers, when they blog about food, have some special characteristics. One of them is that Korean food blogs tend to be very collective and very collaborative. You have things like Wing Bus and Menu Pun, where instead of one person writing about what they eat and what they make, you have thousands of people submitting short reviews or experiences, and thousands of pictures taken with their dika and their cell phones. And even when people blog individually, for the most part the blogs tend to favor very short formats with lots and lots of images. And this is a little different than the food blogs you see in America and the West. Part of this is because they're still very dependent on Korean blogging platforms, which started out, I'm sure you all remember and probably still have, your Cyworld mini homepage. And Cyworld was one of the big and very early blogging platforms that Koreans got used to. So everybody still writes very short blogs with lots and lots of pictures taken with their dika and their selfie. And you know, it's you and a big mound of ice cream on a waffle. But one of the advantages to this is that it actually generates a lot of blogging. It's simple and easy to do, and lots of Koreans do this. And so people want to write about their experiences with food. They want to write about their experiences with sex too, but their parents might find the page. It's okay to tell mom that you wrote about a waffle that you ate, but it probably wouldn't be good to write about your boyfriend. But one of the things that it does is it really reflects Korean society, and you have lots and lots of trends showing up in the food. And the blogs reflect these trends and they amplify them. And so whatever becomes popular on the blogs later becomes more popular because people are writing about it, so more restaurants make it. Which is why Korean food really has these very strong trends. One year, somebody makes a waffle. The next year, every restaurant in Seoul sells waffles. When Andong Jimdak became big, there was an Andong Jimdak restaurant on every corner in Seoul. And the same thing for, you know, Buldak and everything else. But what it does is it generates a lot of information and a lot of knowledge. And you can, when you look at one blog, you can't see it. But when you look at all the blogs, you get this great picture of what Koreans value in their food and their restaurant experiences. Just briefly, some of these things are, Koreans have a really interesting sense that the time and the atmosphere are part of what you pay for. They better be, because my cup of coffee does not cost 6,000won. But also that you get this idea of a hierarchy in Korean food that doesn't exist for non-Korean food bloggers. Sort of European food is at the very top, and then Japanese food, and then you sort of drift into Korean food and down. But Korean food is starting to move up and become more important in that hierarchy. But foreign food bloggers blog about stuff very differently. It's very explanatory, and I'm totally out of time. But both blogs do a job of explaining and showing what's important in the Korean food scene overall, and ultimately are helping to globalize it. So, that concludes my talk.